Let's sit in the chair then, and let's sit tall. And depending on your leg length, has something to do with where you sit in the chair. But sit so that your feet are flat on the floor, your big toes are together, your knees are together, or your thighs down. Put your hands behind you, right there where the back and the seat come together. Begin to press your feet down and let that lift come up through your legs, through your pelvis. Let your trunk receive that lift and see that the lift moves inside your rib cage rather than across the surface. Let your elbows bend and shoulders drop as you lift your trunk. And let the lift extend up through your neck. And take your head very slightly back on its axis. Your jawline is parallel to the floor. This posture requires some effort, but not a tremendous amount. So we can hold this for a minute or so and become aware of the breath. And become more and more aware of your posture. Yoga is about building awareness. And that awareness is focused internally as well as externally. We want to become more and more sensitive to what we are doing, what the alignment is, how the energy is moving through us. That energy is propelled by the breath. So allow your breath to be slow and steady, smooth and even. Now, be very careful, maintaining this awareness, this lift, this alignment. Slowly and carefully remove your hands from the chair back and stretch your fingertips down. This intensifies this linear lift from the feet through the trunk up through the neck and head. Keep your breath slow and steady. Maintain that awareness as you bring your arms forward. And so I got right here and I noticed something shifted in my shoulders. So I paused for a moment. Then I got right here and I thought, oh, am I okay? Yes, I'm fine. Bring your arms up. Tighten the elbows. And then lift your shoulders by pressing the feet, intensifying that action up through the pelvis and the trunk. Let your breath be slow and steady. Opening our arms like this opens up our armpits, opens our chest, and this helps our immune system. Now flex at the wrist, fingers point. If you can, bring your middle fingers to touch and press the heel of your hand toward the ceiling. Soften the ribs so the breath can move easily. Then extend and press your arms out, 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 and down. So then, let's take this back arch. This is what we did last week, so it should be a little more familiar. We want to lift the chest. I'm going to turn my chair sideways so you can see better. So press your feet down, lift up through your trunk. Now let that lift really be emphasized in your chest. So lift these side ribs right beside your breast, toward the ceiling. Keep your chin tucked for a bit. Do not throw your head back. Lift your chest. And then begin to extend your neck to look at the ceiling so that your neck stays in line with the rest of your spine, and breathe. Then as you inhale, come up, up, up more, and exhale, release your pose and rest your hands. Using your head in that way does two things. First of all, it keeps your mind on the back bend. If you take your head back right away, your brain stays with that, and you will not achieve as much action in your trunk. The second thing it does is to strengthen the muscles on the back of your neck, and very few of us have not been rear-ended in a car at some point and had our head thrown back. So this helps to rehabilitate those muscles. So let's do that one again. So sit tall, press your feet down, lift your chest, lift your trunk, shoulders are back, head is back. Pressing the feet down, let that action move up inside your rib cage, up inside your chest. Pressing firmly with your arms on the chair. I'm using a fair amount of action there. And finally, letting your head come back to be in line with your pose. Breathing. This is a bit of work for me, so don't be surprised. And then on an inhale, go to your maximum for just a second. And then as you exhale, come to sitting. This is a great thing to do also if you've been doing something that causes you to lean forward, computer work, needlework, puzzles, whatever you've been doing, all right, that causes you to lean forward. So this is this is an antidote to that. Now we are going to lean forward, but in a kind of a vigorous way. We're going to move at the hips, and we're going to let our arms hold the chair and become straight. Okay, so press your feet down, lift up, 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 up through your trunk. Hopefully you're getting better at that at this point. Keep the pressure on the legs. Press your hands to the back of the chair. You can walk your hands a little higher up the back of the chair to keep your trunk pressing forward. Press your legs very firmly. Keep your abdomen lifted up so it helps you. And breathe. And then very slowly, keeping that lift, maintaining your posture, come back to sitting. When you maintain that sense of posture coming and going, it works with alternative muscles. So be sure you make that effort. One more time, press your feet down, shoulders back, draw that trunk in and up. Lift up, not as much as before, but give a nice chest lift. Then we're going to press the back of the chair, press the feet down, walk your hands up the back of the chair, press the feet down, keep the trunk nice and long. Feel that awareness, that energy moving through you. Some places are going to work more than others, but know what's going on. Slowly, slowly, slowly come up. All right, I'm going to turn to the front again. Sit forward in your chair a little bit. This is bringing one leg up. So this will be your right leg. Bring your right leg up. We do this almost every class at HRJ, so you should be familiar. On any given day, you can have a different reaction to any pose. So always be thoughtful as you perform your asana. And slowly let that build. So you see that I'm drawing my heel closer and closer. Now, if your knee is up very high, most likely your back is going to collapse. They work together. So if your knee is up very high, you could try a couple of things. At least use your hands on the back of the chair and push yourself up straight and open your chest. When you've achieved that, then see, can you use these muscles on your outer thigh, contracting those muscles to pull that thigh down. So the chair can help you create the posture that your muscles haven't quite figured out yet. All right, let's soften that, take that leg down and sit for just a breath or two. Now this is your left leg. Bring it up and pull it in. And sit for a moment. Find your posture before you add the challenge of the leg. The posture is the most important. And then as you bring the heel closer and closer to your hip, go back to your posture each time. Keep your breath slow and steady. You can use your hands on the back of the chair. Even if your knee is down, this helps. To lift your trunk and then engage these muscles on the outer thigh to pull that thigh down. And breathe. And then one more time, let's sit in Dandasana for just a moment. Put your hand, leave your hands where they are, press your feet down, draw up through your trunk. Let that be the soft, strong lift. There's a strength and there's a softness. Can you find those two things? All right. Then let's stand up. We're going to remove the chair and work at the wall. Now, for those who have a balance problem, or you're concerned about your balance, you can certainly use your chair. So don't get rid of it too much. So first, we're going to stand and into asana at the wall. You know, when you're leading a Zoom class and you really do have to be on time, I've got a script here. All right, so big toes together. Even if your heels come apart, know where the wall is. Find a wall with your heels, and then it's a matter of practice so to know how far from the wall your heels should be. Some have a bigger backside than others. It's just the way we are. So find that so that your hips just very lightly touch the wall when you engage your abdomen. Firm up the glutes, firm your legs, tighten those leg muscles into the bone. Draw your shoulders back and down. Extend out through your arms, tighten those muscles in your arms. Draw your head slightly back on its axis and up. Then take your awareness right back down to your feet. Work your way through, again, from your feet, up through your legs. Engaging more of those leg muscles, even more. Pelvis is firm and strong. The trunk is lifted and supported. Use your breath to see that the trunk opens rather than contracts. Shoulders move back toward the wall. They probably won't touch, but you know where the wall is. Maybe the back of your hair, if you've got a poofy hairdo, will touch, but don't count on it. Now, revolve your arms, palms up, touch your thumbs to the wall. Maintain your posture. Begin to draw your arms up with the thumbs touching the wall. At this point, draw your shoulder blades down. When your arms get shoulder height or just above, draw your shoulder blades down and take a moment there to review your posture. See if you forgot to pay attention somewhere as you're bringing your arms up. Bring your arms all the way up till they're parallel or wherever you can have them and have your elbows straight. So if that's out here and you're really extending, that's still a fine pose. It's the integrity of what you're doing that's important, not the imitation of the shape. And then wherever you are, press your feet down more, draw up through your pelvis, your trunk more. Shoulders up, elbows straight, and breathe. Soften the ribs. And bring it down. Okay. For this one, this is Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So we're going to go to your right. So if you're going to use a prop, you can put it on the right side. You can use a block here if you have blocks. So we're going to stand and we're going to experiment first and see, because I want this foot, this right foot, up underneath the chair, right up underneath the chair. So step your feet wide apart and try to get this left foot as far back as you can. Then move yourself close to the wall so that you can easily touch the wall. You know it's there to support you. Then begin to stretch and straighten both legs. You can hold the chair, bring one arm up, or you can bring both arms up. Now, keep this lift. Stay here for just a moment to feel the legs. Inner ankles lift. Inner thighs are active. Outer thighs are firm. Pelvis perpendicular. Trunk lifted, shoulders down, arms firm. Keep all of that as you bend your right knee. Keep all of that as you deepen your pose. Again, you can hang on to the chair if you like. You can put your hand on your hip. Okay. Keep moving into the pose. You can use it if you can go a little deeper and want some support. This is a fine way to do. Is to press here, to press your hip, this hip, back away from the chair. Okay, this goes into a different pose, Parsvakonasana, but nevertheless, it gives you some connection with your hip so that as you come back up, maybe you can hold that. This hip is to move away from the wall. It should not touch the wall. Let's come up. Square your feet, step them in, move your chair. Then put your left foot way up under the chair, step way back. Get a big, big distance. Get very close to the wall. Your hip should just be really close but not touching. So as you straighten your legs, you're not touching the wall, but you're very close. You're about maybe just a few inches, maybe 3-4 inches. Get your distance, stretch your arms or hold the chair. Keep the hips square. You can watch the line here on my shirt, see if I do right. And begin to bend your knee. To get further, for me, I have to move one of my legs. And in this case, it's easier to move the back leg. So that I can come into the square, stretching the arms and breathing. So the hip of the bent knee should not be touching the wall. You can have your little fingers touch the wall for balance. and then come up. Square your feet. You can wiggle them in so you can step. Move your chair back. So using the chair at the wall gives you extra weightlifting. Just extra bonus here. Right foot under the chair. Get yourself close to the wall, close enough so that when you stretch your arms up and spread your hands out, your little fingers can give you some balance, some reference. And you want your hips to just be just inches away from the wall. Get a very big distance. Either stretch your arms up, get your legs straight, get your hips level, shoulders back, head back. Contract those shoulders down. Keep all of that. Simply bend your right knee. Keep drawing your tailbone in and up. Moving yourself deeper and deeper into the pose. Breathing. And then come up. This is where the chair comes in handy. Change your chair. And step out nicely, close to the wall. Step far, far back with your right leg. Remember your alignment, heel to arch. Okay, you all know that, but we all have to be reminded. Okay, so then draw those thighs front to back. Make them work equally and evenly. Stretch your arms up. Engage those shoulder muscles. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, maintain your pose, maintain your awareness. Simply bend that left knee. Breathe. Use those leg muscles. Breathe. And then come up. And you can hold your chair. Wiggle your feet in and stand up. Back to the wall, Tadasana. Heels just an inch or so from the wall. Roll your shoulders back and down. All right, then one last pose on the way to the floor. And that one, now it's awkward because I want you to put your feet at the wall. So I would put my chair here usually, but this is for the downward dog. You can do this with your hands in the chair or on the floor, but put the heels at the wall. So for those who can do this pose from the floor, put your feet toward the wall. You have to measure. This is where I need a camera person, right? You have to measure and guess how far it is for your heel to reach the wall. So experiment, lift your hips up. Oh, I'm just too close, so I'm gonna have to walk out just a little bit. Try again. Oh, that's much better, I did it. So then once you've got your distance, get your heels at the wall, work your heels down the wall toward the floor, then come back into your pose, begin to build it from the ground up. Press your heels into the wall, spread your hamstrings wide apart, lengthen out through your trunk, drawing your hips toward the wall, drawing your kneecaps up, extend through the armpits, head in line with your arms. And then come down. If you can sit on your heels, sit back on your heels. If you can't sit back on your heels, Then just sit to the side and stretch your legs out, because now we're going to Dandasana. So I want you to put your hips right at the wall. You can have your knees, I want you to have your knees bent. I want you to lean forward, very far forward, and kind of waddle your hips back into the wall, so that when you sit up, it's the middle of your pelvis that hits the wall rather than small of your back. And then one leg at a time, extend, extend, join your feet, bring your hands back, bring your shoulders back to the wall. So you can spread your hands, find the distance that works for you so that you can maintain your posture. The very top of the shoulders, lightly, it's not like you're leaning against the wall, you're not. You know where the wall is. The back of your head slightly closer to the wall. Sit tall and breathe. Now then, we're going to take our legs apart for Upavishta Konasana, seated angle pose. Move this hip flesh out to the side. Again, lean forward. Work your hips right back into the wall. And then, as you sit, press your sit bones down, press your thighs down, press your calves down. Extend out through your heels and pull your toes back toward you. So your legs are very, very active. Now press the sit bones down, draw up through your trunk. The shoulders, again, not really touching the wall, but the head's very close so that we're straight. It's not that your head is close, because I have a lot of hair back there. So don't artificially put your head back. Just know how close you are to the wall and get your trunk straight as you can imagine. Now, I want you to take an inhale and press your legs down and lift up through your trunk. And as you exhale, push your trunk forward, maintaining that same straightness, maintaining that same awareness through your legs and your trunk. Push your trunk forward. So the line is always extended. If that's easy for you, you can bring your arms higher up the wall, bending your elbows, and push yourself further forward. Being aware, being conscious, finding where your point of breaking comes. When do you begin to adapt in some other way than what we have designed, right? And then you come back up and you say, well, that wasn't what I wanted. You try again. This is a pose that's very good to go to that limit point. Take a few breaths, bring yourself up a little bit, resettle yourself, and do it again, exhaling. This is a good strategy for softening muscles. So let's come up again just slightly. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, go forward. Press your legs down and out. Extend your trunk, shoulders back, head in line, and breathe. And then come up. Just sit for a moment, get yourself straight. And then bring your feet in. So draw your legs in. Baddha Konasana. The wall's really helpful here. Lean forward, make sure you're just in the middle of your pelvis and sit up tall. You can use your hands on the wall. I like to start that way because I feel I have more leverage, but you do what works for you. Another good thing to do, have your elbows on the wall, put your hands on your thighs, lift up through your trunk. It gives you a way to press your thighs down and still maintain the lift of your trunk, the ease in your neck. This is another pose where it's good to hold it for a few seconds and then release it a bit, resettle yourself, and do it again. And then maybe release a bit, reset yourself, and do it again. Keep breathing, opening up. See if you can't find a little more ease doing your poses that way. And then release that. Stretch your legs out for Dandasana. Lean forward, get your hips at the wall, and sit tall for a moment. Now the next pose is called Shavasana. It's a one leg forward bend. Okay, for this, we will move away from the wall slightly, and you'll need a strap. And we won't make a big fuss this time, but the latest teaching is that it can be easier to use a strap if you've made a big loop in it, but not always. So either way you have your strap is fine. So stay close to the wall, maybe about a hand's distance, or you'll have to just learn from your own experience, because we're going to now sit up tall just like we did before in Dandasana. Elbows back, chest up, legs press down, kneecaps lift up. Now, relax only your right leg. Reach inside that knee, pull it back, close that knee joint, and then pull the whole thing back, so that ultimately your heel ends up in the groin of the right leg. Then you have to reset your hips. To adjust your hips, we want to twist our trunk now to face forward. These are all complicated moves. Nothing normal about any of this. So take your time. See how you can release. Keep your breath going. Enjoy the adventure. This always takes me to places that I forget about. So it's a very good pose to work on. Now, as you inhale, lift up. As you exhale, we're going to push ourselves forward. At this point, you can put your hands back on the wall if you found that helpful. Push yourself forward into the pose. And then come up. If you're a beginner at this pose and you're having, enough fun at this point, you can keep doing this. If you want to have a little more challenge in this pose, this is where your strap can come in. You can put the strap around your foot. Then we begin to approach the full pose. At this point, hold your strap, press your big toe into the strap, pull up and back with your trunk. Upper chest lifts, head is back, leg is actively pressing the floor. Make that left leg push down on the floor to lift your trunk. Then you can bend and lift your elbows. Come forward. Then come up. All right, you can release that. Inside. Stretch out your right leg. Join your feet for a moment. See that you still have the right distance from the wall. Now this will be your left leg. So from Dandasana, take a moment, review Dandasana for yourself. Then soften your left leg, draw it back, close the joint, and then pull the whole thing back toward the wall. Stretch out your right leg. You can put your hands on the wall, or if you're more accustomed, but try something different too. Don't always be stuck. Try something different. The wall has a lot to offer, even if you've done this for a million years. It opens you differently. We're turning the chest to face that leg, turning the abdomen to face your right leg. Then, either keeping the hands on the wall, you bring them a little closer together and push to bring your trunk forward. Press your leg down, lengthen your trunk. Never give up the trunk to please the leg. Stretch your leg. You can bring it in more and more. To make the pose more classic, use your strap. Put it around the top of your foot. Press the big toe into the strap. Draw your shoulders back. Lift your chest. Tighten up that leg. Press it down and lift your trunk. If that goes well, then you can lift and bend your elbows. The trunk must stay straight. We move through the trunk, not just bend at the hip. If you can grab your toes with maintaining this without changing your posture, lift your hips, lift your elbows, work through the sides of your body to come forward. It's not only about stretching your hips, it's about working through your trunk. Gita Ji used to say like an inchworm, moving through your trunk, extend yourself forward. All the way up into the armpits, and then come up. And open that close. All right. All right, so all of that early confusion cost us some time. So let's just sit tall for a moment, and then we're going to lay on the floor with our legs up the wall. Well, first we're gonna lay down and lift our leg up. So we did this last week at the wall. If you can do this in the middle of the floor, do this one without the wall. Okay, this is Supta Pada Angushtasana. So we're going to lay down, have your strap. I've got to lay down over here. That's just fine. All right. I'm not going to bother to turn my mat, but you can. So you're going to lay down, get yourself straight, pull your knees up for a moment. That will feel really nice. And then one leg at a time, put them down, adjust your posture, slide your heels out, tuck your shoulder blades under, and rest right in the center of the back of your head. This is laying down Tadasana, Supta Tadasana. Pay attention to how your pelvis is tipped. Pay attention to how your thighs are working. We want the thighs to be thin. Here's a trick you can use. This is interesting. If you arch your back up very high and really stretch your legs forward, keep stretching and walking them forward. Now tighten your legs to take your trunk down, extend through your trunk, which is at that point basically your abdomen, your pelvis, but extend and then lay your shoulders down and see if you got a nice fit. Then keep your left leg steady, slide your right heel in. Keep that left thigh down as you bring the right knee in, which means you have to remember that extension, not only leaning into that leg,
but drawing the abdomen and the trunk back from it as well. Put your foot into the loop and stretch your leg up. In this case, having if you have a loop, it becomes handier and easier to hold the belt. So hold your leg at 90 degrees. Tighten up your knee. Draw your shoulders back to the floor. Keep your head in line. This is the one that I suggested that you do in a doorway when you practice with the video, because this will help you understand and help your muscles understand not only what the leg should do, but what your trunk should do, what your shoulders should do. Okay. Now, if you put both sides of the belt in your right hand, take your left hand to the floor, keep your pelvis level. So you have to let that left leg know, let the abdomen know, let the glutes know what you're about to do. You're going to take that leg to the side, rolling the belly to the left. If you can grab your toe and keep everything going, you can do that. Or hold closer and closer on the belt. Then draw your leg back up. Here, this one is better with the belt. So if you lost your belt, put it back on, because I don't want you to go too far. I want you to put the belt in your left hand, straighten that leg. I want you to keep the right hip on the floor and just bring the leg across, extending out through the ball of the big toe joint. Bring the leg across. This may give you a very exciting stretch along this outer thigh. There's tissue there called the iliotibial band, and it's very tough to stretch, and it gets cranky. If you're not getting enough stretch doing that, then you can roll all the way over till your leg is pretty much parallel to the floor, keeping then the hip can come up, of course, but the shoulder stays down. Both shoulders are down. And then roll back up. Either way is a good thing, as long as you are getting a productive stretch. A productive stretch means that you're aware and in control. Okay, so straighten yourself up, slide both legs out, extend, arch up your back, extend out through your legs and draw your thighs down. Then contract your abdomen just a bit, lengthen your trunk down, lay your shoulders down, arms to the side, center of the back of the head. Now firm up your right leg, draw up your left, bring it up, put the strap, and stretch your legs straight. Oh, get your strap together. There. Stretch that leg, tighten the knee. Draw your shoulders back. Keep your right leg firm, toes pointed to the ceiling. Then we're going to take the belt in the left hand. Tell the right leg something is going to happen. Tell the pelvis. Draw that leg out to the side. Extending, extending, extending. Use the shoulder pressing down as a brake to help you keep lifting up that side of the body. Breathe. Draw it up. Put the belt in your right hand. Keep this left hip on the floor and slowly draw that leg across. You may find that one side is a little more excitable than the other, so honor that. This points out for some people who are more athletic, how we may have a tendency to rush through this part, because once we get here, different things are active. If you are ready, if you're willing, you can roll all the way over onto your right hip. Keep that left leg parallel to the floor. Left shoulder down. Breathe. And bring that leg up. Bend your knee, release the foot, give it a squeeze. Bring that leg down, join your feet, stretch out for a moment, adjust yourself. All right. So now, if you got sideways on your blanket or anything, you can adjust, but otherwise we're going to go straight to Shavasana. We're going to
What is she
pull
doing?
your knees up. I'm going to stay sideways, it's better. Pull your knees up, shoulders down. Remove your glasses. Stretch out one leg at a time. Adjust your pelvis. Take the back thighs down. Lengthen through the pelvis, through the trunk. Legs are firm. This is Supta Tadasana at first, to get yourself placed. Then on an exhale, let your eyes soften and recede as the eyelids close over them. Allow your face to relax, your legs, arms, trunk, shoulders. Release yourself onto the floor. As you inhale, draw that breath in, not a deep breath, but let the breath move deeply and sensitively through your body. Make one last adjustment if you feel you need it. And then surrender completely into your Shavasana state, where your awareness is turned inside completely. The breath is slow and steady. The exhale releases us, removes the heaviness. The inhale brings in new energy, new vitality. And the exhale releases and removes the heaviness, the discomfort, so that the inhale can feel that, heal it. And I'm sorry to say that we have to finish our Shavasana now. So allow your breath and your awareness to be more known throughout the body, moving to the surface. And slowly begin to move your fingers and toes and your wrists and ankles, and bend your elbows. Put your feet flat on the floor and stretch your arms up overhead. And then roll onto your right side. Rest for a moment. And then push yourself to sitting. And come to any comfortable seated position. You can use your hands behind. Lift your trunk. Keep that lift as you slowly join your palms. The thumb side of your hand rests on your sternum, gently lifting that skin, releasing the shoulders back and down. As you inhale, lift your chest just a little more. Keep that lift as you exhale, bow your head. And take a moment to be grateful for all the blessings of your life. Namaste. Thank you for coming.